You're watching Notre Dame football on NBC, presented by the Motorola Razr M.
Anytime with Michigan, the pageantry, the excitement will be off the charts.
There's a lot of pride and tradition in both schools.
Touchdown with 11 seconds left. Michigan has the lead. Robinson's going to score the go-ahead touchdown for the Wolverines.
To come out on top against Notre Dame is just great. It's like something that's perfect.
Touchdown, Michigan, with 2 seconds to play.
It's one that we let slip our hands last year. There is certainly that desire to beat Michigan.
It is a prime time matchup. The 18th ranked Wolverines of Michigan and the 11th ranked Fighting Irish of Notre Dame under the lights at Notre Dame Stadium. Just take in that scene. It is something special. Brady Hoke is the Michigan coach in his 2nd season, and Brian Kelly in his 3rd as the Notre Dame head coach. Manti-Te'o, Denard Robinson sure to be important in the outcome of the game tonight. Notre Dame won the toss and deferred to the 2nd half. And so Michigan will get the ball first, and we'll see Denard Robinson to open the game. Norfleet is deep for Michigan to take the opening kickoff. Kyle Brinza will kick it off for Notre Dame. And Brinza buries it into the end zone for the touchback. And so Michigan will start at the 25-yard line. Here are our Adidas starting lineups for the Wolverines. With Taylor Lewan, who recovered a Robinson fumble in the end zone for a touchdown last week. Roy Roundtree caught the game-winning pass with 2 seconds left to beat Notre Dame at the Big House last year. Denard Robinson has accounted for 944 yards in total offense the last 2 meetings against Notre Dame. So from the 25, there are the numbers for Denard Robinson. Robinson keeps, blockers in front, and steps out of bounds, tiptoes across the 30-yard line for a 5-yard gain on 1st down.
Interesting, Tom. The kickoff into the end zone, they chose to start on the left hash so they could run field.
Second down and 5. Robinson under center. Reverse and a pass upcoming. Gardner throws downfield and it's incomplete. Intended for Joe Carriage. Devin Gardner, who plays wideout, also as a backup quarterback, and there is a flag on the play.
12, Devin Gardner.
Defense, number 13.
Wow.
15-yard penalty.
Now, what they got was the matchup they wanted. Linebacker Danny Spond isolated on a deep route. So we start with a reverse, and now a reverse pass. Devin Gardner, as Tom said, the backup quarterback. Spond has his back to the ball. You've got to identify the football, or they'll call that every time. Whether it's a good call from a contact perspective or not, if you don't turn and look for the football, they're going to call that play.
Flag came in late, but it looked to be the correct call. Here's Vincent Smith now in at running back. Robinson in the shotgun with Toussaint. Here's the handoff to Fitzgerald Toussaint. And he gets a couple of yards. Here's our Adidas starting lineups for the Notre Dame defense, with Cameron Lewis-Moore continuing to play through a calf injury. Teo, despite his grief after the loss of his girlfriend and maternal grandmother, 12 tackles against the Spartans last week. And Zeke Mata, the only experienced member of that secondary.
Timeout being called by Robinson.
So a Notre Dame, a Michigan mix-up there forces them to use their first timeout. It comes with 13:51 left in the first quarter. Michigan on the move against Notre Dame. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Droid Razor M by Motorola, by Coca-Cola Zero, real Coke taste and 0 calories, by the all-new Honda Accord, it starts with you, and by Comcast Business Class, because business can't wait. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything we've learned making tires that go the distance inspires what we roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. After the Michigan timeout, the Wolverines have it. 2nd down and 7. Robinson looks left, fires that way behind his intended receiver, Jeremy Gallen. Danny Spahn, who was called for the interference earlier, defending on the play, but Robinson's pass behind Gallen.
And he's only a 53% completion guy. The ball is behind him. I think he was worried about Spahn, who was the underneath cover guy there.
15 of 34, 44% on 3rd down conversions, the Wolverines, facing a 3rd and 7 in this instance. Robinson with plenty of time. Now the coverage breaks down, so here he goes. Robinson scrambling, ball came loose. Dan Fox recovered it if it's ruled a fumble for Notre Dame, but I think they'll say he was down, and it will be enough for a Michigan 1st down.
And here's the problem. The right tackle here, Schofield, watch what happens as Denard Robinson holds onto the ball for an extended period. All of a sudden, because he pushes him by, look at that, he jumps up inside. That great block by Schofield. And whenever that gap opens up, Tom, that's the bottom line defensively. He can hold it, but when he pulls it down and goes, that's when he's most effective.
Under center on this 1st down play. Play action fake. Robinson looking deep and going for the end zone way deep and way overthrown, intended for Roundtree. And Roundtree and Farley got a little tangled up. Zeke Mata coming over to help as well.
You know, Farley's really an interesting kid, Tom, to be playing in a game of this magnitude when 4 years ago he was a high school soccer player in Charlotte, North Carolina. I mean, his last 2 years were the only years in high school he played football, and last year he was a wide receiver. Here he is starting at safety against the number 18 team in the country.
2nd and 10, I formation. Toussaint is the tailback. He gets the handoff and is hit and dropped after a gain of a yard. So Toussaint, small gain on the play. Bennett Jackson coming over to help.
Interesting change here, Tom. We're used to seeing Bennett Jackson to the field. They're putting him into the sideline and they blitz him. Really good call by Bobby Diaco, because Jackson is an aggressive tackler and he makes the play at the line of scrimmage. And he's pretty pumped about it.
Here's another 3rd down. The Wolverines converted one, 3rd and 7. Earlier this drive. Denard Robinson under pressure, lets it go, and way over the head of his intended receiver, Roundtree, as he took a hit from Dan Fox.
Good job by Notre Dame's defense. Bring an overload blitz. The linebackers are coming. It initially gets picked up, but Fox gets off the ground and gets a piece. And one of the things with Denard Robinson, he rarely sets his feet and steps into a throw. And because of that, he's got some accuracy issues.
Neal is deep to accept the punt from Will Hagerup. Fair catch. made at about the 9-yard line. Punt covered 34 yards without a return. Notre Dame deep in their own territory for their first possession of the game. Michigan and Notre Dame have each won 11 national championships. We've highlighted some: 1901, 1932, 47, and the latest 1997 for the Wolverines. And for Notre Dame, 1924, 47. Rockney and Leahy, the two coaches there, 66 and 88. Great football tradition of the Wolverines and the Fighting Irish. So Notre Dame gets its first possession at its own 9-yard line. Everett Golson in the shotgun. His 4th career start. Play action fake and a pass on first down. Underthrown and picked off. Intercepted by Ramon Taylor. Taylor reversing his course. And finally tackled at the 20 with a flag down. Chris Brown made the stop.
Tom, that's the first interception of the year for the Michigan defense. Only 2 fumble recoveries, no interceptions. They've been struggling generating turnovers. Now this ball's underthrown. And remember, only a 2nd year in college, 1st year as a starter. He gets in behind Taylor. All you've got to do is put a little more air under it. I think he was concerned about the safety Kovacs, but he really did have a wide open gap between the corner and the safety.
Bill Lamonier, the referee, says there was a face mask at the end of it. There is Golson with the face mask.
No doubt.
And so the penalty will put the ball at the 10-yard line. And it's the turnovers that have spelled the difference for Notre Dame this season versus last.
There's no doubt about it. They've taken care of the football this year. Last year at this point, they had 13 giveaways on offense, only 2 entering the game this year.
So the Wolverines presented with a golden opportunity. Robinson pitching. Toussaint, nowhere to go. Stop for a loss, back to the 12-yard line.
See, Tom, you mentioned in the open how stout they were with their front 7, and that's Notre Dame's strength. I really think their front 7 is a top 10 front 7 in this entire country. So if you're going to try and power these guys, block down, toss sweep, you're not going to do this to Notre Dame. Really good job. Zeke Mata, the whole group there, the linebackers, they just don't let you outside them. They're too big and fast and physical for that.
2nd down and goal now from the 12. Robinson sets his feet, nobody open, has to scramble and gets back only to about the 15-yard line where he's hit by Prince Shembo.
Shembo and Tuitt really are the 2 guys that make the play, coming from different sides of the line of scrimmage. Tuitt's going to force him up inside. Really good job by Shembo. An outside to inside move against Taylor Lewan, the best player on that Michigan front.
Now 3rd down and goal from the 15. Robinson calling for a timeout. Play clock was about to run out.
Yeah, did he get it? Yep.
And he has granted the timeout before the play clock expired. So already 2 timeouts here in the first quarter by the Michigan offense. And so Brady Hoke, the 2nd-year coach of the Wolverines, born in Kettering, Ohio. He played at Ball State here in the state of Indiana, was a criminal justice major, and he told us he wanted to be a Secret Service agent. And spent 6 years as the Ball State head coach, 2 years at San Diego State before accepting the job at Michigan. He said it was his dream job. He fell in love with the University of Michigan and all its tradition when he was working as a high school coach at the Michigan camp. His wife would drop him off, and he told her, "This is where I'd like to wind up someday," and here he is. 3rd and goal, 15-yard line. Robinson, protection, breaks down, and he's sacked. Stephon Tuitt with his 6th sack of the season.
big pressure from that Notre Dame front once again. I think he wanted Devin Gardner, who was double teamed, and he had the pump fake, and now watch what happens as this line collapses. Tuitt just runs over the right tackle, Schofield. Tuitt is a man, and then look up here, double team everywhere.
And Gibbons on to attempt the 43-yard field goal. On its way, it is no good. Michigan had a first and goal inside the Notre Dame 10. 3 plays, lost 15 yards, and then a missed field goal. The Notre Dame turnover does not cost the Irish. They'll get the ball when we come back. Check out Notre Dame Extra on NBCSports.com for an online-only bonus camera, live coverage of the halftime bands, and you can now stream the game live from your mobile device with a new NBC Sports Live Extra app. That's all at NBCSports.com/ND Extra, presented by Mercedes-Benz. So Everett Golson, his first pass attempt of the game, picked off by Michigan. We'll see how he reacts now as he takes over at the 25-yard line. Hand off to Sierra Wood on first down. And Wood, with a nice gain on first down, is tackled by J.T. Floyd for a gain of 7. Our Adidas starting lineups for the Notre Dame offense, with center Braxton Cave, a 5-year senior, anchoring that offensive line. And Tyler Eifert has 98 career receptions, but he was blanked against Michigan State, breaking a 22-game reception streak. Looking to the sideline for the play call.
They're in a balanced set, a tight end on each side, perfectly balanced, trying to force the defense to balance up with them, and then call the play at the line of scrimmage.
Sierra Wood, ridden down short of the 40, but he has a first down by Desmond Morgan, making the tackle on Sierra Wood, who got his first action of the season against Michigan State after being suspended for the first 2 games. Our Adidas starting lineups for the Michigan defense, with Clark, the youngest member of that experienced front. Jake Ryan, linebacker, freshman All-Big Ten last season. Captain Jordan Kovacs, a former walk-on, now the Wolverines' leading tackler, and he has nearly 300 tackles in his career. 3 wide receivers top of the formation to give to Wood again.
Sierra Wood.
This time Wood only gets a couple of yards before he's down by the center of that Michigan defense.
I enjoyed talking to Jordan Kovacs the other day, Tom. Wasn't he fun?
Really was. The young man who was waitlisted for acceptance just as a student at the University of Michigan. Wanted to play football. He was recruited only by Division II and Division III schools, but he wanted to play at Michigan, as had his father. He went to student tryout. There were 50 or 60 in the first, and he was asked to come back. They only took 3, and then about 40 in the second tryout when he made the team. Now's a 4-year start. Here's Golson scrambling and tackled at the 40. Got back to the line of scrimmage.
Golson tripped up by 40.
Jake Ryan able to trip him up, bringing up an Irish 3rd and long.
Yeah, he was looking for Eifert that time, and they effectively double covered him. And Jake Ryan, he's a linebacker on rundowns, and he's a defensive end in their sub package. Plays like his hair is on fire. He's got a lot of hair too. He reminds me of Brooks Reed a little bit, the 2nd-year player for the Houston Texans, with the motor he has.
Only 1 of 14 against the Spartans on 3rd down conversions, despite the dominating victory. Golson's pass way over the head of DeVaris Daniels. So a punting situation now for the Irish.
So, you know, Brian Kelly's sitting there, and he's calm right now. And this is what I call the trials and tribulations of a starting quarterback for the first time. And, you know, it's his first season, his 4th start. He's been clean this year, only 1 interception, 1 fumble, but he's been inaccurate. Some of it is mechanical, some of it is decision-making. But you have to live and die with that with a young quarterback.
There's Gallen calling for the fair catch on the Ben Turk punt, and he makes it at the 11-yard line. Ben Turk coming off what his coach called his best game as a Notre Dame player. That punt covered 49 yards. Robinson back on the field when we return.
a scoreless game here in South Bend, Indiana, between Notre Dame and Michigan. Despite the slow start for Notre Dame, there's still an awful lot of optimism here on the sidelines. Whether you're talking to Tim Brown or Jerome Bettis, people are excited at the opportunity to beat Michigan and start 4-0. Brian Kelly, he's okay with his kids getting patted on the back, but Tom, he was quick to remind them that he's not handing out any rings in September.
That's right. He took great pains to bring them back down to earth after the win on the road at East Lansing. Jeremy Gallen gets it to the 20-yard line, an 8-yard gain on first down for the Wolverines. And he said as they go around campus, it's okay to be patted on the back, but you got to keep everything in perspective as Manti Te'o makes another play for Notre Dame.
Yeah, I thought Bennett Jackson could have done a little bit better pushing it back inside, but Te'o from the inside out making the one-on-one tackle.
So 2nd and 2 from the gun. Robinson fumbled the snap. Able to get back on it, but a big loss in the play. That goes for a loss of 6, and we'll bring up a 3rd down.
Robinson a little bit frustrated here. They had some of these problems this summer, Tom. It's interesting because the starting center left guard have flip-flopped since their summer practices. Ricky Barnum was their starting center, but he had problems snapping, so they moved Mueller there, and that time he delivered the snap far outside Robinson's left hand.
There's Elliott Mueller over the ball on 3rd down and 8. Robinson, protection, holds, and he drills it complete. Gardner with a catch. He has a first down to the 30-yard line where he's tackled by Zeke Mata. An 18-yard strike from Denard Robinson. And Robinson's first completion of the game.
And they average almost 18 yards per completion. Just against the zone, he does a nice job identifying the hole between the safety and the linebacker. You see 5 Te'o and 22 Shoemate. He puts it right in between them. When this kid gets hot, he gets it rolling, and that's what you don't want to have happen.
And when he gets protection like he did there.
Yep.
He's under center here on first down. Play action fake. That's incomplete pass. The pass was low and dropped by Gallen.
And that's a pass where he just throws without setting his feet. And you see that with both these quarterbacks. They get hyper, they don't set their feet, and all of a sudden, you've got an inaccurate throw in your hand. As good as that last one was, he just opens up and rips it without any idea where that front foot is as far as and his receiver. You got to step right at that receiver. He's too far open. He over-leveraged that left hip. Bad throw.
2nd and 10. Plenty of time on the play clock. Robinson throws complete. Nobody covering Roundtree. Tackled by Farley. It'll be about a yard short of the first down.
Yeah, I like the late identification there, the protection and the identification by the quarterback there, because what happens is he's got deep outside coverage. So he goes with the number 2 receiver on the flag route, and Farley doesn't expand far enough as the underneath cover guy. Remember, Tom, we're dealing with young players. Kavari Russell, a true freshman. Farley is a second-year player, but freshman eligibility, and they're going to make some mistakes.
3rd down in the yard. Robinson's going to keep it. Pounds up the middle and just has enough for the first down, it would appear. Didn't make it by much, but didn't need much.
Remember what Brian Kelly said about this quarterback, Denard Robinson? Talked about, you can see on tape, you can see when you watch him on television how much the kid loves playing the game. He said he has a passion for the game of football and a toughness about him. And that's high compliments coming from an opposing coach.
And Coach Kelly said there's nobody like him in college football. It was interesting, too, when we were talking to him and you mentioned NFL. Conventional wisdom is he's too small. He said, I don't care. I just want a chance. I love football. I'll play center.
and he could. He's that tough.
Give to Toussaint, who's hit in the backfield, manages to regain the line of scrimmage with Bennett Jackson holding on.
You know, there's a play this year that I think exemplifies this kid's toughness, and he was frustrated against Alabama. He threw an interception on a ball he probably never should have thrown, stares his receiver down. It's a poor throw. And now watch at the end of this on the return. Number 16 waiting for him, stalks him, and he throws his shoulder in there like very few quarterbacks would do. He's small, he's tough. Like Joe Frazier once said, I might be a small piece of leather, but I'm well put together.
Play action fake, rolls to his left, sets his feet, delivers. Right on target to Roundtree, close to the first down. And when they spot it, it will be enough for another Michigan first down, gain of 11.
Now, there's one where he didn't set his feet, but he still was accurate. I like the throw and the decision. He wanted to go all the way to his left, and he came back across the middle. Watch his feet. He's rolling to his left. His feet aren't even set, yet he's able to throw the ball back across his body. I stood next to him while he warmed up tonight, Tom. He's got a live arm.
He has the Wolverines into Notre Dame territory. 46-yard line, first down. Robinson being chased, unloads it. It's caught by Gallen, and he has another Michigan first down.
Well, that's a pretty interesting route. It was supposed to be a double move, a hitch and go, but it's a hitch, go, and stop. Watch 10 at the bottom of your screen. The hitch, the go, and now the stop. That's actually pretty good coverage by Kavari Russell. You can see what kind of athletic ability. He might be a puppy, but he's a quick puppy. Came out of that transition very well.
But the Michigan drive continues now at the Notre Dame 34-yard line. Robinson in center on first down. Fake. Looking deep. No pressure. Has the man wide open. Another first down. This one caught by Gardner. And so Denard Robinson picking the Notre Dame secondary apart. They've given him time to throw, and he has been on target, driving the Wolverines down the field. Now first down at the Notre Dame 25.
And remember, Tom, I said earlier in the game, it looks like Notre Dame's inverted their corners. Kavari Russell's playing to the field. The first 3 games he played to the boundary. I think Michigan's picked up on that, and they're picking on Kavari Russell a little bit.
Robinson started the game 0 for 3. He's now 5 of 6, 59 yards on this drive. Keeps it after the fake. Robinson into the secondary. Ramada stops him inside the 10.
This is vintage planned quarterback run with Ricky Barnum, the left guard, pulling. Watch the read that the quarterback makes. He's going to shuffle with Toussaint, and then he's going to cut inside the guard's block and get north and south. And when he's got the football tucked beneath his arm, it's about as good as it gets in college football.
15-yard gain on that one. First and goal. The last time Michigan had a first and goal in this spot, they went in reverse and missed a field goal. Here's a toss to Smith. Vincent Smith throws a pass. Intercepted. Intercepted in the end zone by Notre Dame. Nicky Barati, the freshman from Tomball, Texas, gets the first interception of his Notre Dame career.
Another puppy. And by the way, Vincent Smith threw a touchdown pass a year ago against Minnesota. Look at Barati see Dilio come cross his face, react, and make the catch. And that is a huge play for another freshman Notre Dame defensive back.
Well, twice in the red zone, the Notre Dame defense has stopped Michigan. 51 seconds left in a scoreless first quarter. Notre Dame taking over at the 20 after the interception in the end zone. Our first and 10 line brought to you by Xerox. Everett Goldson under center, sending Eifert in motion and then handing off to Atkinson. Atkinson, the speedster, is to the 25-yard line, a gain of 5.
You know, on that last play that Vincent Smith throws the interception, Vincent Smith is tiny. And if I'm coming around there at about 5'7" and I see Manti Te'o coming full speed, I'm probably going to jump in the air and just flip it. And that's what it looks like he did. And I give Nicky Barati a ton of credit coming in in your first real action as a freshman and making a play.
Second down run by Riddick. Theo Riddick appears to have the first down. His first carry of the game. It goes for 6 yards.
Yeah, Tom, I rarely in college football can see a team that loses 3 of their best 5 defensive backs come back and play the way they have. And now Nicky Barati, just unbelievable.
And it looks like Notre Dame will continue their streak of not allowing any points in the first quarter this season, as the first quarter comes to a close with Michigan and Notre Dame scoreless. We'll return to Notre Dame Stadium after these messages from your local NBC station. You're watching Notre Dame football on NBC. Sunday night is football night. Don't miss America's Game of the Week as Tom Brady and the Patriots take on Ray Lewis and the Ravens on Sunday Night Football. Bob Costas hosts Football Night in America live from Baltimore. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, only on NBC. We begin the second quarter scoreless, though Michigan dominated the first quarter. 7 first downs to 2 for Notre Dame. Time of possession 11 minutes to 3:45 for the Irish. Here's Sierra Wood making a nice move at the line of scrimmage and then spinning to the 35-yard line where he's tackled by Thomas Gordon.
And Tom, if you're a fan of NFL football, you just talked about that game Sunday night. You're talking about 2 teams coming off losses who don't particularly like each other anyway. I think the Ravens feel like they're 1 drop pass away from a Super Bowl a year ago. So that's going to be a fun game to watch on Sunday night.
Brady Hoke and the Wolverines twice into the red zone. First and goal inside the 10. Missed field goal after a sack and then interception in the end zone. George Atkinson. Get away, only a couple of yard gain. Desmond Morgan makes the Michigan hit.
Stop by 44, Desmond Morgan.
You'll see 3 different tailbacks for Notre Dame tonight. Atkinson, who just had the football, the home run hitter. Sierra Wood can kind of do it all. And I think Theo Riddick's a guy that's a former slot receiver. They'd like to get him the ball in space in the pass game, but he's also tough enough to run the ball north and south.
So there's Wood on the sideline. It's Riddick in on this third down play. And a pass caught by Theo Riddick. Michigan ready for that.
Theo Riddick on the catch.
Line of scrimmage only. It'll be 4th down. Jake Ryan smelled out that play. The pass to Riddick.
Yeah, if Ben Koyak doesn't get that block, that play can't work. And Koyak didn't get the block. Michigan blew it up. It forces a punt.
Jeremy Gallen is deep. Ben Turk in punt formation for Notre Dame.
So Ben Turk for his second punt of the game, and Jeremy Gallen ready to receive it. There's Turk. Off the side of his foot. And he'll be down at about the 34-yard line of Michigan. Only 29 yards on the Turk punt. First bad one he's had in a while. Well, these 2 teams are known for Heisman Trophy winners. Tom Harmon in 1940, Desmond Howard in 91, Charles Woodson the 3 for Michigan. And for Notre Dame 7, we've highlighted Angelo Bertelli from 43, the Golden Boy in 1956, and Tim Brown in 1987. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Experience truly great engineering today at your authorized dealer. By Bud Light, the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. By Verizon, whatever you want to do, Droid does. And by U.S. Bank, all of us serving you, member FDIC. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything we've learned making tires that go the distance inspires what we roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. And the shot from the Goodyear blip shows Michigan huddling up with a first down at the 34-yard line. Here's the difference in the game. Wow. 9 for 9 in the red zone until tonight, and then 0 for 2 tonight, despite the fact that they dominated in the stats in that first quarter. Atkinson in the game into that secondary. Josh Atkinson, twin brother of George, the running back. Toussaint. Notre Dame continues to bottle up the Michigan running game with the exception of Denard Robinson.
And on that last drive, Tom, where Michigan drove it all the way down the field only to suffer an interception, we talked how they went after the young corner, Kavari Russell. Now you substitute Josh Atkinson, who's only a sophomore, who has little to no playing time experience either. So, again, if you can protect against this front and get into Notre Dame's secondary, you can have some success.
Irish showing blitz, second down. Here's a penalty flag. And a false start.
28 offense. 5-yard penalty. Made second down.
Frustrating. Two linebackers jumped up in the A gap. Toussaint jumped.
Toussaint has had 4 carries for only 2 yards.
And they're worried about not getting their run game going so far this year. Alabama shut them down. They've had trouble running against quality teams.
Second and 13. Robinson goes one way, then runs with it. Can't cut back. Stopped by the pursuit, and Manti Te'o puts him down.
And this is a planned run. He fakes the bubble screen, and watch the running back. He doesn't even look. He's going out to block. They're trying to block the safety and the linebackers. Te'o knifes underneath. But Tom, throughout the game tonight, we're going to see an awful lot of planned quarterback runs that might look like scrambles.
Third down and 12. Robinson sets, delivers, intercepted. Manti Te'o. Take Te'o out of bounds inside the Michigan 20-yard line. Another big play by the Notre Dame defense. Manti Te'o with the interception, his second of the season.
I really have no idea why Denard Robinson throws this football, because as he sprints to his right, Manti Te'o expands with him. Watch Te'o. He expands with the sprint. He undercuts Gallen. There's 2 Notre Dame players there. There's no way you can throw this football. Gallen runs the, I mean, look at it. Spond was going to intercept it if Manti didn't. And that's Manti's second of the season. And yep, it's been a tough couple weeks, man, but you've hung in there.
And he returned it 28 yards, so first down Irish at the Michigan 17. Golson. Theoretic hit in the backfield, manages to fall forward for a yard or 2. Jake Ryan was the first man on the scene.
And Tom, you know, from a coaching perspective, when your young quarterback throws an interception on his first throw, sometimes it kind of hinders your play calling for the rest of the night. And Notre Dame's been very conservative since that call, trying to run the football and really haven't gotten anything. And now you've got the ball in the red zone in field goal territory, and you don't want to risk another turnover.
Golson sends Eifert in motion, then resets. Play action fake, and Golson for the end zone. Eifert can't get it.
And they got what they wanted, but it was a tight fit. And look at Bryant. See, calm down, no problem. Kenny Demmons was underneath that. They had a safety over the top. That would have taken an extraordinary throw to drop it in that bucket.
So now third down and 9 for the Irish. Golson from the shotgun.
Draw screen, something easy, I'm thinking.
Nope. Put it up, and it does for the end zone again into traffic. Intended for Troy Nicholas, who was surrounded by 3 Michigan players. Falls incomplete.
Yeah, you're not going to fit that one in. Kenny Demmons, 2 plays in a row. The inside linebacker does a nice job running underneath the route. Look at 25 running underneath. That's as good as a middle linebacker can do. It's a heck of a throw. He got it on Nicholas's hands. but Demons did a nice job running underneath the route the entire time.
So Kyle Brinza attempts a 33-yard field goal. Brinza's kick is on the mark and good from 33 yards. So Manti Te'o with the interception of Denard Robinson. Irish offense has to settle for the field goal, but they get it. Here's the interception that gave the Irish the ball and eventually a 3-0 lead. First points are on the board. 3-0 Notre Dame leading Michigan after the Brinza 33-yard field goal following the Te'o interception. Notre Dame defense is carrying the Irish so far tonight. There's Bob Diaco, the defensive coordinator.
They were +5 coming into the game. Pick up a couple more. He's one of the most impressive young coordinators in the entire country.
So Brinza will kick off. And Norfleet will be deep for the Wolverines. Kyle Brinza boots it. Norfleet takes it 2 yards deep and will come out with it. Here's Norfleet on the return and a good one. Crosses the 30, almost to the 35-yard line. So Norfleet with a good kickoff return. And the Michigan Wolverines send their offense back out onto the field. Kendall Moore made the special teams tackle for Notre Dame. Michigan ball when we come back to South Bend. The Hesburgh Library, the iconic touchdown Jesus just beyond Notre Dame Stadium here on the campus. 3-0 Irish, 10:03 to go second quarter. Michigan will put it in play from their own 33-yard line. Tonight's first down line brought to you by Xerox. Denard Robinson from the shotgun. Across the middle and picked off again. Bennett Jackson. Jackson picks it off, his third interception of the season, and back-to-back interceptions now thrown by Denard Robinson.
Yeah, this is inaccurate also, probably because Manti Te'o, who having a big game, look at him, doesn't go for the fake, he forces the throw. If you put the route on Gardner, it's complete, but it was overthrown. Bennett Jackson gets out of his pedal. That ball, that receiver's open, but it's a poorly thrown ball because of Te'o's pressure. Back-to-back interceptions by the Irish, and Tom, Notre Dame's doing exactly what they want defensively. They're keeping Robinson in the pocket, forcing him to be a pocket passer, and that's not what this kid is.
Notre Dame from the 39 of the Wolverines. Everett Wilson has a man wide open. It's Theo Riddick. Nice move by Riddick. Close to the 25-yard line. Irish first down. Devins the tackle. 13-yard gain.
Now, the thing about this young man, I believe, is, remember a year ago, Notre Dame had him bottled up for 3 quarters. And I believe they were up about 24-7 late third quarter when he came alive. And as the coaches from Notre Dame told us this week, with 10 minutes left in the game, he generated 220 yards of offense. So his head won't get out of this game.
First down play. Wilson's pass snagged by Daniels to the 10-yard line where he's hit by Kovac's 16-yard gain.
And that's Daniels' 7th catch of the year. He's a big physical wide receiver. Only a sophomore. And I'll tell you, they're going right back to Golson. Here's the route. It's just an in route. He's against zone coverage. The ball's thrown a little bit behind them, but a nice catch. Double catch there by DeVaris Daniels.
That was nice by Daniels, who came into the game with 6 receptions. First and goal, 10-yard line. Handoff. Atkinson. Starts at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Will Campbell, they really made a nice play, getting inside, crossing the face of an offensive lineman and making the play.
little surprised they tried to run Atkinson up the middle.
Yeah, they like him in space, and I think they like him in misdirection, but as time progresses, you know, this kid's got to learn to run everywhere. I think the concern is, will he fumble the ball, which he did on a bunch of kickoffs a year ago.
Second and goal. Everett Golson from the shotgun. Go to the air. Has to scramble from the pocket. Flag is down. And he throws it up for grabs, and it's picked off.
I don't know if he dropped that or held it, but that's a really bad decision and throw. And the flag, I believe, is going to be holding on Zach Martin, which Michigan, of course, will decline.
Thomas Gordon with the interception. Golson, an ill-advised play. Here's it from Coach Kelly.
Yeah, you can't make that
had
throw.
to throw that into the end zone seats.
10 rows up if you're going to make that throw. It's tipped. Caught. Look at see the ball. He double caught that, and I'm not sure if he controlled it.
Both against Notre Dame. Holding, 74. Holding, 70. Both penalties are declined. Play results in a touchdown. First down, Michigan.
See,
touch back actually.
He double catches it, and I don't know if he's down when he possesses it because of the out of bounds there. Let's just see this. There's the tip. He catches it and drops it, and then double catches it right there. And that left elbow looked like it was protecting it prior to going out of bounds. Look at it. There's catch. Boom. Okay, I think it is a catch.
Holding calls against Zach Martin and Christian Lombard of Notre Dame declined. Michigan gets it at the 20. Time now for Mercedes-Benz top performances. In 1990, when #1 Notre Dame faced #4 Michigan under the lights, the game back and forth. A Tony Brooks touchdown gave Notre Dame a 14-3 lead, but Elvis Gerback hit Desmond Howard, put the Wolverines up 10 entering the fourth quarter. Notre Dame rallied with under 2 minutes remaining. Rick Meyer found Adrian Gerald in the end zone. The Irish 4th straight victory against the Wolverines. That's our Mercedes-Benz top performances. Under the lights tonight at Notre Dame Stadium, 3-0 game. There have been 10 combined possessions and 5 turnovers. 3 by Michigan, 2 by Notre Dame. So maybe we'll see Tommy Rees the next time the Irish have the ball. And now it's up to the Notre Dame defense as Howard keeps. Tries to cut back and stopped after a gain of a couple.
Yeah, Tommy Rees was just warming up on the sidelines, taking snaps from Braxton Cave. And keep in mind, he came into the Purdue game, drove him down the field. There's a lot of confidence in Tommy Rees. And those 2 interceptions by Golson were both poor. Bad throws in one case, bad decision in the other case.
There are the numbers on Rees and that drive he led to get the winning field goal against the Boilermakers. Second down and 8 for the Wolverines. Robinson faked it, kept it, cut back, bounced off his own man, and has a first down.
Robinson.
Prince Shembo finally collared Denard Robinson. He runs for 8 yards.
Yeah, that's the same play with the backside guard pulling that they used for a big quarterback run in the first quarter. This time it's Patrick Omame, the right guard. He'll pull this way. Denard will ride the tailback and make a decision on the give or the pull. Here he pulls, gets in behind the guard and the center's block, and almost breaks it all the way back across the field. That's what Notre Dame's worried about right there.
First down, under 7 minutes to go in the first half. Robinson keeps, goes the other way.
Robinson.
This
is about a 3-yard gain for Denard.
And I think Michigan's trying to get back to the basics a little bit with that planned quarterback run, Tom. Don't have them throw it as much right now, right, Brady? Now we're going to get back, and that one was another planned quarterback run. That time the right tackle pulled, trying to find some room for him.
Second down, 7. Robinson fakes the handoff. Under pressure, almost picked off by Gill, and was it? Yes, on the rebound. It looks like another interception.
Zeke Mata. He tipped it, and Manti might have caught it. Little tip drill action here. I think Manti got his second interception of the game.
He did. Mata tipped it. Teo countered it before it hit the turf. 3 interceptions thrown by Michigan tonight, and Teo has 2 of them.
Teo had no interceptions in his entire career coming into his senior year. 2 in 1 game, 3 on the season. It's the Notre Dame defense leading the way. 3-0 Notre Dame.
Back at Notre Dame Stadium, there's Tommy Reese, who's coming in now to direct the Notre Dame offense. Everett Golson, an interception on the last possession in the end zone. And so he's on the sideline, and Tommy Reese, who directed that drive, hitting 3 of 6 passes to get the winning field goal against Purdue, is in the shotgun on first down. Misdirection handoff to Atkinson. Can he get the corner? No, he cannot. Great defense by Michigan, led by Jordan Kovacs. -3.
You know, Tom, you look at this move, and let's face it, Brian Kelly has had a history of a short leash with quarterbacks, even going back to Cincinnati. We've seen it at Notre Dame repeatedly. It worked against Purdue when Tommy Reese came in, led them down to the game-winning field goal. And when we talked to Brian the other day, he said, we have ultimate confidence in Tommy Reese. And every player, Tom, we talked to said the same thing. My only concern is the confidence of the young quarterback being pulled twice in 4 games.
Reese in the pocket, now chased from him. Of course, Reese throws back across his body. It's caught by Daniels. DeVaris Daniels with a first down grab, 16 yards. As Reese, chased from the pocket, scrambles and finds an open Daniels for the first down.
He's kind of doing his Everett Golson imitation here, getting out of the pocket. Now remember, he's typically a pocket passer. Rowe gets up the field. Golick gets pushed back in his face. He breaks contain, and I was a little nervous for any quarterback throwing late across the middle, across his body, but really nice job. He put it on the back shoulder, and J.T. Floyd was not able to make the move on it.
Under center now, first down. Reese with a handoff to Riddick. Cuts back, nothing there, only a couple of yards as we go down to Alex.
Well, Tom, the body language of Everett Golson when Brian Kelly told him he was going to put Tommy Reese into this game was one of disappointment. Brian Kelly pulling his quarterback aside on the sideline, had a conversation with him for a few minutes. Everett took his helmet off and went and sat on the bench. Remember, turnovers are a huge, huge priority for Brian Kelly this year, and what Tommy Reese brings him in this game right now is experience.
He brings some experience, Alex, but the problem is last year the Notre Dame quarterbacks had 23 turnovers, and he was responsible for 19 of them.
Still on the ground with Riddick. This first half, of course, has been a turnover fest. 4 by Michigan and 2 by Notre Dame.
Yeah, and I think what Alex said is correct, is he's a calming influence. He comes in there, the players believe in him. He knows every read, he knows every call. He's the son of a coach. He just has to stay under control and take care of the football. The Irish are really having trouble run the football, Tom.
Michigan has effectively cut off the Notre Dame rushing game. Neither team has been able to rush the ball very well. Only Denard Robinson with his feet has been effective.
Tommy's changing the play, empty set.
And a 2-1, and they have to call timeout. Down to 1 second on the play clock.
Yeah, he actually got that off, but they got the timeout from the bench, I believe.
Yep. Coaches called the timeout. First timeout taken by Notre Dame.
30-second timeout. 30-second timeout.
Well, think back to the first home game for Notre Dame. Tommy Reese came off the bench. He had served a suspension for the first game, didn't play against Navy. Here he came off the bench, throws it. Goodman makes a great catch to set up that drive, taking care of the football. He got it to Toma, and then Kyle Brinza, who was forced into service because Nick Tausch was injured, kicks the game-winning field goal. So obviously Coach Kelly hoping for the same kind of results this time as he goes to his relief pitcher, Tommy Reese.
Yeah, and I'm a little disappointed overall in the quarterback play tonight. Desmond Robinson, who everybody talks about as an All-American, we know he's better with his feet than his arm, but really, poor performance with his arm, and it doesn't surprise me that Brian Kelly pulls the plug. Don't be surprised, depending on how this game goes, though, if he goes back to Everett later.
Play clock to 1 again. And Reese going down the sideline where it's caught with a flag down by T.J. Jones. Another flag comes in. Jones with his first reception of the game. It goes for 25 yards with flags, 2 flags on the play.
Pass interference. Defense, number 6. The penalties decline. The play results. First down.
Ramon Taylor with the interference call.
Yeah, and another good decision. Top of the screen. Tommy Reese puts it outside him, away from Taylor. Taylor can't find the football. 2 things. You're going to call that every time if you're a ref because you don't turn and find the ball. But what I like most about that is T.J. Jones fighting for the football.
And he made a good catch. And they're reviewing the play, we're told.
On the catch with his foot.
Guess with it, whether his foot was inbound. That's the only thing I could think of.
And keep in mind, in college football, it's not a spot foul. It's a 15-yard penalty, which is why the review would be important.
Got the 1 foot down, had possession, did he? Looks to have.
Foot is clearly down. The only question right now is whether or not he had possession, which it looks like he did all the way through the catch.
I don't see any problem with that.
I don't either.
So a nice catch by T.J. Jones, his 10th of the season, first of this game.
And in a game with 2 really explosive teams, that's the first 20-plus yard play in the entire game.
3 minutes and 16 seconds remaining in this turnover-marred first half. Denard Robinson, his last 3 passes have been picked off.
And again, I don't think it's going to get to him.
No, look at the smile.
Catch has been confirmed. First down.
Yeah, that was pretty obvious, right, Tom?
Yep. Looked like an easy one to me. So from the 6-yard line now, it'll be 1st and goal, Notre Dame.
Now, this is where both teams have had a poor ability to score, is the red zone tonight.
Tommy Reese is the quarterback. Theo Riddick at running back. In the shotgun.
We have not heard from Tyler Eifert tonight, and he split out wide by himself. Top of the screen.
Reese goes the other way. Completes it short of the end zone to Riddick.
Really good read. Tommy first looked at Eifert and knew where his receiver was backside. That's a veteran look right there. He gave the quick look, holding the linebackers and safeties, and came back to the other side. Watch his head here. He's going to look left. Boom. Now he comes back right. Quick release, puts it on him. Nice job.
Looked toward Eifert while he was making his drop, and then went the other way. 2nd and goal from inside the 1. Theo Riddick upended at the line of scrimmage by Desmond Morgan, and Notre Dame continues to struggle running the football.
Another flag, too.
Flag on the play.
Illegal shift. Offense. The second man did not stop. Still movement. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
Yeah, you've got to stop for a full second there. And again, Tom, implosion in the red zone.
Yeah. It's been a sad tale tonight for both teams, their performance in the red zone. It'll be 2nd and goal now, back at the 6-yard line.
Notre Dame's inability to run is putting an awful lot of pressure on the quarterback position. 13 carries, 34 yards. They got jacked at the goal line there, and now they come out and empty and spread the field.
See the Red Hat Brigade, the backup quarterback, signaling in the play call. Empty backfield with Tommy Reese, 4 wide receivers.
Eifert, unbelievable. One of your best offensive player jumped in the red zone.
5 more yards against the Irish.
Ball start, 80, offense.
You know,
5-yard penalty.
and there was some
Remains
confusion
second down.
in the Michigan secondary about where he was. Watch him. He twitches. Whoop, whoop, whoop. That's it. 5 yards. And they were worried about him because Desmond Morgan and Kovacs were having a conversation about whether they were doubling him or singling him.
Well, at one time, the Irish had the ball inside the 1-yard line on this drive. 2nd and goal. Now they're back at the 10. Again, it's an empty backfield. Tommy Rees overshoots DeVaris Daniels and made the catch. He was wide open, but the pass carries him into the Michigan band.
Well, if you're going to run into a band, that's a pretty good band to run into. They're pretty good.
Rees just put too much air under it.
They're doing a great job of taking Eifert away. He was double covered again. Tommy came back. Too much air underneath it. Tries to drag the foot.
That band wasn't giving up anything, were they? They're not getting out of his way.
They're Michigan men and women. There's accountability about that.
3rd and goal from the 10. Tommy Rees under pressure. Incomplete and a flag down.
I've been focusing on Eifert in this entire red zone sequence, and that time Jared Wilson, his hands were all over him.
It would have been 4th down, but for this penalty.
22 right in the middle of your screen, the left hand encircling him. You know, that's pretty obvious.
Yep.
That doesn't get much more clear than that. Eifert fighting hard to cross his face.
Defense, number 22. Ball be placed at the 2-yard line. Automatic. 1st down.
I know that's got to frustrate Greg Madison, whose defense has done a great job so far today, denying any kind of run game.
There's Greg.
Yeah. Boy, is he a good football coach.
Was a former coach at Notre Dame, assistant coach here, and his daughter Lisa was a Notre Dame softball player.
Yeah, he went from Notre Dame to Florida, then 3 years with the Ravens. He's about as good as he gets.
Now 1st and goal again from the 2. Quarterback draw. Rees is into the end zone.
How good a call is that?
The most unlikely of rushing touchdowns for Tommy Rees.
That is a great call. 81,000 people in the stands and you and I up in the booth had no idea. Good block at the point of attack by the center, Braxton Cage. The right guard Golan. Watch these two guys here. They collapse Quentin Washington. Tommy's going to run about a 5.3 40, but it doesn't matter because he only had to go 5 yards from the shotgun.
Kyle Brinza for the point after. Brinza's kick splits the uprights. And so the 3rd Notre Dame interception of the 1st half results in the game's 1st touchdown. A Rees run, and Notre Dame ups its lead to 10-0 over Michigan. (10-0) Irish with a 1:21 on the clock for the 1st half. The Irish getting the scoring drive. 8 plays, 48 yards, directed by Tommy Rees with his 1st career rushing touchdown. Everett Golson, of course, started the game, but Rees comes in just as he had against Purdue to direct a scoring drive. Norfleet is the deep man for Michigan as Brinza has it teed up. Brinza's kick will be short of the end zone. Norfleet across to 20. Flag flies as he is upended at the 25-yard line.
On the return, holding, number 22. 10-yard penalty, First down.
Jared Wilson with the penalty, holding penalty.
2 penalties in a row for Wilson, right? He had the interference on the end zone.
1:15 on the clock. First down. Big Blue at the 16-yard line. Robinson keeps. Nowhere to go. Short game for Denard. Tackle made by Lewis Nix. And coming up, it's the Discover Card halftime report. Liam McHugh, Doug Flutie, Hines Ward in the studio with scores and highlights from around college football. And Mike Florio and Peter King will join them with news from the NFL. That's all coming up on the Discover Card halftime report. Apparently this is Lewis Nix who made the play that's injured.
I thought 2 Notre Dame players ran into each other on this tackle, Nix being one of them. I thought Nix and Ishaq Williams collided helmet to helmet. See here at the end if that's the case. Watch Ishaq from the from number 11, and there goes helmet to helmet right there with Nix. Both of them slow to get up. Ishaq struggled for a minute. Nix still down.
Look at the gash in the helmet of Ishaq Williams where he collided.
Yeah. Nix is listed at 326. I'm not sure he's that small. And he's one of our favorite interviews. They call him what? Irish Chocolate.
Irish Chocolate. He documents the season on YouTube and is quite entertaining.
Yeah, he's fun to talk to. He's got a YouTube thing called Chocolate News, and it's pretty entertaining.
Junior from Rains High School, Jacksonville, Florida, where he was a prep All-American and played basketball also. A 6'3", 300-pound guy takes up some space in the center of the court, I would say, in the lane. Manti Te'o leading the cheers. Michigan with a 2nd and 8 from the Wolverine 18-yard line. 35 seconds to go in the half. Robinson will keep it with a blocker. Daylight is trying to duck for the sideline, gets out of bounds with 16 seconds remaining. That's a 20-yard jaunt.
Notre Dame's playing real deep, Tom, and Denard Robinson took advantage of it. Fake reverse. What I liked about that is when he saw 4 players about to envelop him, he made the abrupt left turn and got out of bounds to stop the clock.
Yards on the ground for Robinson in this first half.
And just rush 3 and drop 8.
Lines up and heaves all the way downfield. And it picked off again. The 4th interception this first half by Denard Robinson. This is Kavari Russell. Russell will go out of bounds on the last play of the first half, but there's a flag down.
It's a late hit by Patrick Omame. It's just a frustration play, a dumb play. I don't know what Robinson's doing on this throw. Easy interception for Kavari Russell. It's the Big Ben play. 3 verticals. Russell's deeper than everybody. The ball's a little bit overthrown. He comes down with it, and at the end of the run, I thought he had a chance here because he had Zeke Mata out in front of him. Vincent Smith does a good job making the tackle right there. But at the very end, you're going to see number 65 come into the screen. Or maybe number 2. That was Bennett Jackson taking the hit. Yeah, that's my bad. I saw 65 with a hit late, and I think it was the big guy.
Late hit. Number 2, Notre Dame. That penalty will be assessed on the kickoff of the 3rd quarter.
Oh, so there's the explanation. It was Bennett Jackson with the late hit. It'll cost him on the kickoff to start the second half. Denard Robinson, 4 first half interceptions. As Notre Dame will take a 10-0 lead. Let's go to Alex.
They'll kick up. Well, they'll kick from the 50.
Coach, so a bit of a sloppy first half, really. How do you characterize some of the mistakes?
Well, just turnovers on our end, and obviously they turned the ball over a bunch too. You know, just some uncharacteristic turnovers, and you know, Everett just has got to settle down, and you know, we brought Tommy in there to kind of just, you know, get us back in rhythm.
So do you keep Tommy in for the second half, or you go back to Everett?
We're going to go talk about it.
Coach, a lot of the running game has been hard to come by for you guys. How much pressure is that putting on your quarterback not to be able to run?
Well, obviously, we thought we, you know, got that answered, Tommy coming in, and we got some good runs. But you're right, we've got to be more balanced. There's a lot of points out there that we've given away.
All right, Coach, thank you.
So Notre Dame leading Michigan 10-0, halftime. And plenty ahead. Stay tuned for the Discover Card halftime report. Don't forget the halftime performance of the Notre Dame band at NBCSports.com. Now to Liam McHugh in our New York studio.
Anytime we play a team here at Notre Dame, the pageantry, the excitement will be off the charts. Michigan to that.
Here come the Irish. Intercepted in the end zone by Notre Dame.
The Notre Dame defense leading the way. How would it call that?
It is a prime time matchup. And we start the third quarter at Notre Dame Stadium with the Irish leading the Wolverines 10-0. Look at the first half stats. Brought to you by Droid Razor M.
No doubt a half dominated by both defenses and pretty sloppy quarterback play.
And Tommy Rees, chin strap snap. Looks like he'll be coming in to play quarterback to start the third quarter. There's Everett Golson, who started and was replaced, of course. And now Michigan kicks off from the 50-yard line because of that late hit to end the first half. Let's see if they try anything tricky. No, they do not. They kick it away, and it will be a touchback. And let's go to Alex now, who caught up with Michigan coach Brady Hoke.
Yeah, Tom, Brady Hoke, the head coach of a scoreless Michigan team, did not put the blame on his quarterback, Denard Robinson, who had 4 picks in the first half. He told me that his team is a team and no one player is responsible for the fact that they haven't scored any points. He tells me that Denard did make some good throws despite making some bad ones, so they will hold on to the good ones in the second half. Per his defense, Tom, he said it pretty simply. He said, the kids are playing hard, and they sure are, aren't they?
They are indeed. Denard Robinson, the man who has had such great games against Notre Dame the last 2 times they have met. Subpar first half. Here's a handoff to Theo Riddick. Riddick back to the line of scrimmage. Kovacs had him by the shoe tops. Yeah, Kovacs closing in on 300 career tackles.
An amazing statistic, and you told the story in the first half how he walked on, and just to let people at home understand, there are 2 types of walk-ons in college football. There are preferred walk-ons, meaning you get recruited, and there are only 3 or 4 or 5 a year that do that. And then there are walk-ons that rarely ever get on the field, and that's what he was in that open tryout. His parents paid $100,000 in 2 years for him to have the privilege of playing on this Michigan football team.
Scholarship now. Reese has it back in his face, incomplete. That was Jake Ryan. So on their first possession of the third quarter, Notre Dame is facing a 3rd and long.
They had what they wanted. Eifert over here. However, good job by Ryan getting a hand on the ball. And again, Tom, Eifert was targeted 1 time. No receptions in the first half. Look at the vertical there by Ryan. That's pretty good.
3rd down and 10. Empty backfield for Reese.
Yeah, they've got to get Eifert re-involved in the pass game.
No receptions against Michigan State. None in the first half here.
7 guys up in the line of scrimmage. How many are coming? Just 4.
Reese open. Trying to get the first down is Daniels. Tavares Daniels will be marked just short. Out of bounds, short of the first down. Forced out by J.T. Floyd.
And a good job by Floyd rallying up and getting him out of bounds prior to the first down.
So on 4th down, Ben Turk comes out to punt. Turk uncorked a rare bad one in the first half, only 29 yards.
Oh.
Gallen fields it with a fair catch at the 20-yard line. That is a 46-yard punt by Ben Turk. And so the Michigan offense gets his first chance in the second half when we return to the game with Manti Te'o, who's had such an outstanding game. Again, leading the Notre Dame defense. They've been the dominant force so far. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Sprint, by Xerox. With Xerox, you're ready for real business. By Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. And by the Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1, Note the new way. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything we've learned making tires that go the distance inspires what we roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. So Michigan with the football. They had 7 possessions in the first half. They punted on the first, missed a field goal in the second, and then 5 straight interceptions. Here's Toussaint with the best run yet into Irish territory and out of bounds at the 48.
And that was just their zone read play, and a really good job in the block by their center, Elliott Mueller. Watch Mueller here get the key block, and Toussaint's going to cut up inside, then back out. Bennett Jackson loses contain, a cardinal sin for a corner, and 2 key mistakes on the Irish defense turn into a big play.
31 yards, big play. Now from the 48 of the Irish. Toussaint again. Toussaint about 5 yards on that carry. So Toussaint has come alive here early in the second half.
I'm guessing Brady Hoke's message in the locker room was, guys, as bad as we played, it's 10-0. And we turned the ball over 5 times. We're going to get back to basics, run the football. Let's get back to Michigan football and make this a football game.
Robinson from the shotgun. High snap, keeps it. Can't cut back. Middle was jammed up. Not back to the line of scrimmage only. Manti Te'o was the man that stopped things up in the middle.
He's had a heck of a game tonight. Really has. He scrapes over the top. This is another planned quarterback run. The guard pulls. Te'o cuts inside the guard, Ricky Barnum, and makes the tackle.
3rd down and 7.
Bob Diaco told us a couple of weeks ago he's in a master's level compared to everybody else that is still undergrad.
Robinson on 3rd down. Wide open with a catch is Gallen. And he'll pick up the first down as he's twisted to the turf by Bennett Jackson. Gain of 8.
Yeah, Te'o came on a late blitz, and Danny Fox went to the flat route by the halfback, and the middle was wide open. There's literally, Te'o comes here, the outside line, other linebacker goes there. There's nobody in the middle of the field. He could have hit any of 3 Michigan receivers for a big play.
First down at the Notre Dame 37. Robinson keeps it.
Robinson.
Bennett Jackson tackles him. Gain of 9.
That's that same play they've been running all day where they pull the backside guard. They double the defensive tackle. Here comes the guard, Barnum pulling. They're going to double team at the point of attack right here. And a really good read one more time inside Barnum's block. I like the tackle, though, by Bennett Jackson, one-on-one in the open field.
2nd down and a yard. Toussaint bouncing to the outside. Flag is down as he is 2 flags.
Yeah, I think there was a hold by Michigan there at the point. I think it was the backup tight end there, A.J. Williams, 84.
Brady Hoke staring on in disbelief.
When things go bad, they really do, don't they, Tom? You got something going here. If it's on Williams, he's a true freshman.
Fouls on the play. Holding, number 84, offense. That penalty's declined. Holding, number 52, offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
So Ricky Barnum with the penalty accepted. A.J. Williams also had a hold on that play, which was declined.
Seems like every time Michigan gets on the plus side of the field, they make a big mistake. We've seen holding calls, we've seen interceptions, we've seen sacks.
Second down and 11.
They've got to get Devin Funchess, their big-time tight end, involved. He hasn't even been targeted yet with a pass.
Gallen. 5 or 6 yards for Gallen. Sheldon Day, the freshman from Indianapolis, with his first tackle of the game.
Boy, it's so frustrating when you're playing poorly and you just continue to trip over yourself.
Now third down and 6. Our first down line brought to you by Xerox.
There's Funchess, who looks confused right now. That's the true freshman that they've got to get involved. He's a gifted kid.
Blitz comes from Notre Dame. Robinson unloads quickly and got it to Roundtree. Roundtree will have a Michigan first down before he's thrown back by the Notre Dame defense led by Zeke Motta. It's a gain of 10 as Roundtree open and Robinson got rid of it quickly with a blitz in his face.
Thomas, you called it exactly right. Nice job. They're going to come here and here. It's just a hot route. 21 Roundtree knows the blitz is coming. Robinson gets rid of the football. Well done by the Michigan offense.
Michigan has converted 2 for 2 on third downs in this drive so far. First down up at 23 of Notre Dame. And looks like no gain.
They're getting some real movement inside in the run game right now for the first time tonight.
Lost a yard, actually. So second down and 11. Ball at the 24 of the Irish, who lead at 10-0. 9 minutes to go, third quarter. Tucson made a cut in the hole, got free, and then stopped short of the 15-yard line. It's going to bring up another third down for Michigan.
And I'm telling you, Michigan's back to the basics. A fullback in the game, Joe Courage. He got the block on the middle linebacker, which Tucson cut off of.
It's going to be third down and about 3.
And now the entire playbook is open. 3rd and 3. It's not 3rd and long, forcing Denard Robinson to throw the ball. I would expect some kind of read play with the ball in his hands.
Shotgun. Robinson keeps. Fumble. Recovered by Notre Dame. It's Bennett Jackson, who had an interception earlier and now recovers the fumble. Denard Robinson, who has been so great against Notre Dame, is having a nightmare contest tonight.
Yeah, this is option, and I think Danny Spahn, number 13, reacts back inside with the hit. The ball comes loose. There's the hit. Underneath is Danny Spahn. The ball rolls, and Bennett Jackson alertly jumps on it, and that is the 6th Michigan turnover of the game.
Once again, Notre Dame's defense able to hold Michigan out of the end zone. Prime time under the lights. 10-0 Notre Dame leads Michigan. Denard Robinson with 5 giveaways and 1 other interception by the Wolverines. The last time Notre Dame recorded 6 takeaways was also against Michigan back in 2008. Sierra Wood. To the outside. Nudged out of bounds by Thomas Gordon, or he was off to the races. It goes for 15 yards as it was. So Michigan had a 10-play, 71-yard drive, and the result, another turnover.
And you know what, Tom? On 3rd and 3, they had it. You know, they run option. Denard Robinson has enough yardage to pick up the first down, and he puts it on the ground.
So a 15-yard run by Sierra Wood puts Notre Dame out to the 23-yard line. Tommy Reese is still the quarterback. In relief with Everett Wilson. Hand off to Wood. Bouncing it outside to the other way. And Gordon again makes the play for the defense.
Oh, man, that was a pretty good-looking cut there. Mario Ojemudia had a shot at him in the backfield. That's 2 good runs in a row by Sierra Wood, who's quite a character. I mean, his personal lifestyle is about as flamboyant as his running style. Great cut right there. Turns a negative into a positive. And Tom, I just sat there and laughed in our meeting the other. I didn't know what to say.
He sang for the crowd at the luncheon yesterday, and at least according to Sierra, he was a huge hit.
Well, I mean, according to Sierra, he's a huge hit at everything he does.
He said, I have a good voice. Not great, good. There he is again, and then only a couple yards there. Desmond Morgan latches onto him. So a 3rd down coming up now for the Notre Dame offense.
He's got nicknames for what he calls the three-headed monster, the 3 tailbacks. He says that Theo Riddick is Bigfoot because of the cuts he makes off his 1 foot. He said Atkinson, the freshman, is so fast they call him the Stallion. And we said, well, what's your nickname? He said, man, I'm Shake Daddy. I make everybody miss.
He's on the sideline here on a 3rd down and 4. Empty backfield. 3 wide top of the screen. Pressure from the Michigan defense. So Reese unloads it. Wide of the mark, T.J. Jones.
This is what Greg Madison did in Baltimore with the Ravens. He was famous for overload blitz. Watch all the people that come from over here overloading the one side. Number 15, James Ross, comes free. You don't have enough time to find out who's open. There's this hot guy right there. Instead of going outside, he should have hit Eifert in behind the pressure, but he didn't see it.
Madison, what Coach Kelly tell us, he blitzed, what, 42 times or something?
I think it was 47 out of 82 last year, yeah.
And Turk's punt goes high, but not very long, and then takes a lateral bounce out of bounds.
That's good field position for Michigan, man.
So only a 29-yarder. That's his 2nd 29-yard effort tonight. Ben Turk having a subpar game. So we'll take a break with 2 teams that have produced a number of Heisman Trophy winners. Tom Harmon in 1940, Desmond Howard in 91, and Charles Woodson in 97 for Michigan. Notre Dame's had 7, including Angelo Bertelli in 43, Paul Hornung in 56, and Tim Brown in 87. Later tonight, live from New York, it's an all-new Saturday Night Live with host Joseph Gordon-Levitt and musical guest Mumford & Sons. Saturday Night Live is all new tonight at 11:30, 10:30 Central here on NBC. 5 minutes, 50 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Notre Dame leading by 10. Michigan's ball at the 43-yard line, their own 43. 1st down.
They're back to that run-heavy set. Let's see if they stick with the basics here.
Toussaint. Couple of yards only. Tackled by Spahn.
We've been talking about Denard Robinson all night long, responsible for 5 of the 6 turnovers. It's been some bad decision making, some bad fundamentals, plants his foot. It's a really bad decision end throw. Again, feet weren't planted, ball is inaccurate, comes off under heavy pressure, feet aren't planted, tip drill, tail with the interception, 3rd and 3, a fumble. Don't count this kid out, though, is all I have to say. He's liable to break out at any time.
Hands to Toussaint and back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe got half a yard. Looked like that might have been the option as he was riding Toussaint. Elected to give it to him, and nothing was there. Dan Fox made sure of that.
Called it exactly right, Tom. That's the play where he's pulled it several times for good yardage, but he gave it, creating a 3rd and long situation, which is where Notre Dame has had great success tonight against Robinson.
Got a bunch formation now to the bottom of the field. Now sending in motion. Robinson in the shotgun on 3rd down. Here's Funchess. Making his first catch of the game, but short of the first down. He's into Irish territory, but about 2 yards short as Mata and Russell converged on him.
Yeah, this is a smart play. What happens is Gallen runs off the corner and they come back underneath, forcing the tackle on the 6'4", 229-pound punches. Now, fourth down, they've got a decision to make here, and I think they're going for it.
Fourth down and 2 at the Notre Dame 49, and Michigan will go for it.
A, you've got to be careful not to jump out offsides on a hard count, but B, you better be ready to play, and you got to bet that Denard Robinson's going to have the ball in his hand.
Robinson throwing, and it is caught for the first down. Dillio.
That wasn't a very good throw either. That was tougher than it had to be. Ball's low. Dillio goes down for it, cradles it, clearly a catch and a first down. Give Brady Hoke some credit there. 4th and 2.
Good job by Dillio.
Yeah.
Made the catch. Junior from Greenwell Springs, Louisiana.
Yeah, he had about a 53-yard reception last week against UMass off play action.
First down Wolverines. Toussaint to the 40.
Toussaint.
Manti-Te'o, yet another Notre Dame tackle.
You know, Tom, 6 interceptions. You know, you're -4 in turnover differential. There's plenty of time here. It's 10-0 ball game. You've got the most electric player in the country who's had a horrible night. But if they put some points on the board in this drive, watch out.
And again, remember last year when Notre Dame dominated until the last part of the game and Robinson finally caught fire. He's capable, even though he has had one of his worst nights ever. He keeps it here, and Danny Spahn to make sure he gets only a yard.
They have done a great job rallying to the football. Spahn got off the block of Mueller, the center, and kept contained to the outside. And they are running to the football as well as any college team in the country does. And that's why there haven't been any big plays for Michigan tonight.
Manti-Te'o looking to the sideline for the defensive call. It'll be on 3rd down and 4. Robinson keeps, pounds ahead. He had,
I think he lost his shoe again.
Well, shoestring, who never ties his shoes, did lose it. He'll take that since.
No, is it Luan?
Oh, it's it.
How about
right.
that?
Well, saw a shoe flying.
I see a shoe flying. Exactly. And now they're going to lose their best offensive lineman for at least a snap.
The ball at the 33-yard line. Drive continues for Brady Hoke's Wolverines. After converting another 3rd down. Robinson kept it.
Robinson
clips off another 5 yards or so with 1:30 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept because everybody thinks of zone read where the quarterback looks to the backside. The play they've had so much success tonight, he's reading front side and cutting in behind the guard, in this case Brzezinski. So usually he's looking backside. Now he shuffles with the player, makes his decision, gets in behind the guard.
From the shotgun, Toussaint flanking Robinson. Denard hands to Toussaint. A cutback lane available. It's going to be 3rd down again.
This time it looks like 3rd and about 2.
Captain Lewis Moore made the defensive play. We're inside the final minute of the 3rd. Ryan Kelly's had to sweat this one out for sure. Another long drive by Michigan. They had a 10-play drive last time and then fumbled. Robinson keeps. Lowers his head, picks up another first. Another 3rd down conversion by the Wolverines.
Yeah, that's been their best running play of the game. Gets in behind the guard, drops his head, gets the 1st down, Tom, and boy, they're grinding it out in the 2nd half. Nothing to show yet, but they've kept their composure.
Final seconds of the third quarter. And they will end before they get the play off. So we'll go to the fourth with Notre Dame leading Michigan 10-0. Last three games all decided in the last 30 seconds or less. In 2009, Bernard Robinson in 10 and 11. And tonight we'll go to the fourth with Notre Dame up by 10. You're watching Notre Dame football on NBC. We've seen the Heisman winners from these two schools. Let's see some other notable players. President Gerald Ford, Anthony Carter, Jim Harbaugh, and Tom Brady, current Patriots quarterback. Win one for the Gipper, Joe Montana, Rocket Ismail, and Jerome Bettis, the bus, is on the sideline for tonight's game here. Start the fourth quarter with Notre Dame leading 10-0 after a scoreless third. Tom Hammond, Mike Mayock, Alex Flanagan, our producer Rob Highland, our director Pierre Moussa, under the lights at Notre Dame Stadium, beginning the fourth quarter.
And Tom, this half has been all Michigan. They've run 20 plays to Notre Dame's 3. And if you look at total offense in the game, 236 for Michigan against 140 for Notre Dame. But they've yet to take advantage of any red zone opportunities.
Robinson keeps. A couple of blockers in front. But the protection breaks down and he slips down as Danny Spond was closing in on him.
Danny Spond is having another good game, and what a great story with the problems he's had with the migraines. Came back finally last week, played well against Michigan State. Look at him out here. This is a quarterback sweep. I thought there was a problem here, but he outran Schofield, cutting off Robinson at the pass, and you can't be more happy for a young man who's been through what he's been through.
Second down and 10, 22-yard line of Notre Dame. Toussaint didn't quite get the corner, though he did get a decent gain out of it. Going to bring up another third down. We've seen a bunch of those the last two drives for the Wolverines, and they've been successful on most of them.
Yeah, until they get close and they get a penalty or a fumble or an interception. This is the point in the game where Bernard Robinson has got to make a play.
Third down and 6. Robinson fakes the handoff, takes the throw, gonna keep it, dodging around, still on his feet, and he's stopped at the 15-yard line, short of first down yardage by Manti Te'o.
Te'o and Cappy Lewis-Moore did a wonderful job, because when things break down is when this kid is at his best. Te'o here rotates with it. He's back in coverage. When he reads run with the quarterback, he makes the break. Capron Lewis-Moore makes the first hit, and Te'o cleans it up.
So Gibbons is on for the field goal attempt. He missed one earlier in the game. This one from 33 yards. Gibbons' kick is on its way and is good. So Michigan finally is on the scoreboard. And with 13-10 left in the fourth quarter, it's a 7-point game. Notre Dame leads 10-3. Tomorrow, a champion will be crowned as final round action of the Tour Championship continues from Eastlake Golf Club. Coverage begins tomorrow on Golf Channel and continues at 1 Eastern on NBC. Michigan gets a Gibbons field goal, and now Matt Weil has it teed up, ready to kick off to George Atkinson. There's Weil.
If you're a Michigan fan, 4 trips to the red zone when he came into the game 9 for 9, and you're 1 for 4. Missed field goal, interception, and fumble. You're fortunate to be in the game here 10-3.
Wild's kick into the end zone where Atkinson will down it. Notre Dame from the 25-yard line. 13-10 to go. Tommy Reese will be at quarterback. The Irish need to give their defense a little rest now after 2 long Michigan drives. They haven't done much so far in this second half. We'll see how they do when we return. They'll start from the 25-yard line. Back at Notre Dame Stadium, where it's time for our Sprint Unlimited update. All football, no limits. And Denard Robinson with the 5 giveaways tonight. The Notre Dame defense, 2 sacks and 5 interceptions on the evening. Tommy Reese coming in at quarterback for Notre Dame in replacing Everett Golson, and had his first career rushing TD, the only touchdown scored by either team so far. It's 10-3 Notre Dame, 13-10 to go. Irish from their own 25. Swing pass complete. Theo Riddick. Riddick crossing the 30 to the 32-yard line. Craig Rowe chased him down after a gain of 8.
They had 3 tight ends in the game, all detached. And why? Because they want tight blocking. All this is a sweep, a wide receiver screen, and a great move right there on Thomas Gordon. Theo Riddick cuts it up and makes a big gain.
Setting up a 2nd and 2. Under center, Reese. Handoff to Riddick. Theo Riddick crossing the 35 to pick up a first down. Stopped just short of the 40. J.T. Floyd made the hit on Riddick, but not until he had first down yardage. And don't you agree that Notre Dame needs to string together a decent drive here, give their defense a blow, hopefully put points if you're Brian Kelly?
Yeah, the defense has been on the field way too long in the second half. The offense has been ineffective. Notre Dame's got to put together A, a drive, B, scoring points, because again, it's a 1-possession game, Tom.
That was just Notre Dame's 2nd first down in the second half. From the shotgun on first down. Handoff to Theo Riddick. He's been the workhorse on this drive. Running and receiving, a gain of 5.
And I really like what he's done on this drive. He's run north and south, he's made people miss, he's protected the football, and he's kept that clock running.
2nd down and 5. Clock at 11 minutes, 34 seconds. Riddick is rushed for 21 tonight.
They've got Nicholas and Eifert in the game, 2 tight ends. No, neither of which has caught a pass. Eifert again hasn't had a pass, 1 target all night.
Hand it off. And once again, Theo Riddick comes through with a first down run of 6 yards.
Quentin Washington had a shot. The defensive tackle can't get there. Watch Riddick as the defensive tackle tries to cross the face, can't quite get there. Eifert, the most improved part of his game, 80, has been his blocking. Really nice job on Ryan.
First down play. Reese rolling to his right. And the pass is caught by Jones as he just took it away from the defender. Strong hands by T.J. Jones as Reese rolled right and found Jones for a gain of 12.
Yeah, I thought Floyd had an opportunity to perhaps pick that. Floyd's a long corner at 6'4", tried to make the move in front, looked like he wasn't sure whether to strip it or go for it. He got neither. Really nice job with strong hands by T.J. Jones, who's having, I think, his best season to date.
First down at the Michigan 40. Sierra Wood. No, excuse me, it's Riddick again. Thought Riddick had gone to the sideline and traced by Wood, but it's Riddick once again. He's carried all but either carried or caught a pass on all but 1 play in this drive.
It's been a while since the Irish have been undefeated in September, Tommy. You go back to 02, where they went undefeated, and there's a lot of excitement around this campus.
Under 10 minutes to go. Irish clinging to a 7-point lead. Shotgun on second down. Swing pass complete to Riddick. Theo Riddick goes one-on-one. And the play made by Thomas Gordon. What a nice open field tackle on Riddick by Gordon.
Yeah, nice job by Gordon. But anytime you can get Riddick in open space, it's as good as a handoff. Give him an opportunity to make a play out there.
3rd down and 3 upcoming.
You know, up until this possession, the Irish were 2 of 20 on 3rd down conversions in its last 2 games. Probably not in field goal range right now, or at least at the far end of Brinza's range.
And here's a timeout as Reese raises up and notices only 2 on the play clock and spends the first timeout of the second half by Notre Dame. They'll talk it over on the Irish sideline, facing a 3rd and 3. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Droid Razor M, by Motorola, by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. By Adidas. And by Discover Card. It pays to switch. It pays to discover. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything we've learned making tires that go the distance inspires what we roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Tommy Reese in the Irish offense. 3rd down and 3 from the Michigan 33-yard line.
I think he got him. Got the nose tackle.
Contact by number 76 on the defense. That 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
So Quentin Washington with contact on the hard count by Tommy Reese gives the Irish a first down.
Sometimes it's difficult when the center puts his head up like that. Sometimes it's really difficult to hold back. Center's looking through his legs at the quarterback, then he kind of rocks his hips and brings his head up. Quentin Washington guilty.
Spot the ball at the 28-yard line. First down, Notre Dame. Theo Riddick. 2 tough yards. Clock continues to roll. 8 minutes and 40 seconds and counting.
Been all about Theo Riddick and that offside penalty there. Riddick has had 7 touches on this drive.
Riddick, the sometime wide receiver, back to running back this season, and telling us a couple of weeks ago that he relished the return to running back because he enjoys the contact. And on the sideline, Ben Koyak late coming out onto the field. Play clock at 5. Reese takes the snap, hands it back to Riddick. Theo Riddick made another nice run, but short of the first down. Demons the tackle for Michigan. That play was ugly from the start, but Riddick made something out of it.
Yeah, and Christian Lombard got a bury here. This is a pancake. Watch Lombard, the right tackle. Once you get into the shoulder of that tackle and you can ride him out of there, it's going to give your running back a little room. And again, they're staying ahead of the chains. 3rd and 4, your entire playbook open. I would expect Michigan's going to play very tight coverage on the receivers outside because Notre Dame's got such a good, quick team.
Ronnie Stanley's replaced Zach Martin at left tackle.
Lost his helmet.
Ready. A sure tackle made that time. So 4th down. Demons made it again for the Wolverine defense. And on 4th down, it will be Kyle Brinza that will come on to attempt the field goal. Brinza, who had the game winner against Purdue, who was born with a club foot. Several operations to correct it. Only got the call against Purdue when Nick Tausch was injured. And here he is with a chance. He's already hit 1 field goal from 33. This one from 39. Brinza on its way, and it is good. So Kyle Brinza from 39 yards out gets the three that the Notre Dame defense surrendered last possession to make it again a 10-point game. Matthew Perry is back on NBC in a new show critics are calling one of the best new comedies of the season. Catch an all-new episode of Go On Tuesday at 9, 8 Central on NBC. Notre Dame with an 11-play 53-yard drive that took 4 minutes and 17 seconds. Results in a Brinza field goal. Theo Riddick garnering 37 of the 53 yards on that drive. And it's back to a 10-point game. Tommy Rees came in to replace Golson at quarterback and has directed all the scoring for Notre Dame this evening.
Can you spell quarterback controversy?
Yeah, right. They'll have a week to think about it, too, with a bye week.
Exactly.
Norfleet is deep to accept this Brinza kickoff. He'll bring it out. And has a nice return to the 30-yard line. Special teams play by Dan McCarthy for Notre Dame. Pretty good field position, though, for Denard Robinson and company with 6 minutes and 40 seconds left in a 10-point game. Another great scene in a couple of weeks. Soldier Field in Chicago as Miami and Notre Dame renew their rivalry. Irish will have the coming week off before they go to Chicago to face Miami. From the 30-yard line, Michigan will put it in play, trailing now by 10. Fake the handoff. Robinson, downfield man wide open, and he can't hold on. It was Gardner. Devin Gardner was absolutely wide open, but could not hold on to the football.
Both safeties went deep with one receiver, and then the route's pretty cool. Stutter, post, and then you go to the vacant area. Farley comes over late with a great hit. This ball probably should have been caught. But what made him so open was the route run deep before him on the deep post route by Gerald Robinson.
This will stop that play and a flag down. That generally means a false start. Discussion on this call. The play was stopped before it got rolling.
That should have been a big game for Michigan, but
there was a whistle that came from the stands. That's what stopped the play. That whistle from the stands negates the foul. There is no foul. We'll play second down over.
Now what happened on that play is Gerald Robinson is going to run a deep post, and he's going to clear out this whole area here. And then the intended receiver, Gardner, comes in behind. Look where the corner is. He didn't even see it, and the safety Farley gets over late, makes a great hit, but the ball is already dropped.
So a whistle from the stand stopped that last play. Robinson dancing in the pocket, again going long. And a collision as Mata broke on the football just as it was closing in on Toussaint out of the backfield.
And Mata did an unreal job because he was covering Funchess down the middle of the field. He saw the ball get thrown, left his guy, and went over and got a piece. Now watch 17 Mata. He's running down the field in quarters coverage. Green has man, but he has eyes on the quarterback. Now look. Wow. That's as good as it gets at the safety position. Eyes on the quarterback, the ball goes in the air, you rip it out of his hands. That's a big-time play.
Third down and 10. Robinson. And this pass is caught by Gardner, and it's a Michigan first down. It covered 13 yards.
I thought Robinson did a great job that time. making the linebackers from Notre Dame bite on the short one. On 3rd and 10, there's no reason to come up on the check down. He got him to bite on the check down and threw it in behind him. Real nice job by Denard Robinson.
6 minutes to go. Robinson complete to Gallen. Gallen, 2 nice moves. To the 45, first down Michigan. Farley forced him out of bounds. Gain of 12.
Poor job by Kavari Russell, the true freshman corner, allowing him to get to the sideline and stop the clock.
Michigan has advanced the ball to the 44-yard line of Notre Dame. 5.5 on the clock. Had some steam on that one, and it found its target. It's Gerald Robinson. His first catch of the game, 3rd of the season. 19-yard gain.
Yeah, and Bennett Jackson's got to do a better job of recognizing that he's got a receiver under him and behind him. And you always favor the receiver behind you. Little Chuck, he lets him go. Don't come up here. You've got a receiver behind you. You've got to help your safety.
First down pass. Crossing route. Complete to Funchess.
You know, we talked about Zeke Motta in our open. You know, Zeke Motta being the veteran, the only veteran left back there after Jamara Slaughter got hurt, and Motta's having a big game.
Second down. Draw play Robinson. Denard Robinson diving to the 6-yard line.
This is, if I'm Notre Dame, this is my fear. You know, that's a planned quarterback draw. We're now playing basketball on grass, and Denard Robinson's the point guard. Watch out.
That one good for 14 yards. First and goal from the 7.
Really good blocking down the field there.
Again, Robinson tripped up this time in the backfield. Might have gotten a yard gain. Sheldon Day grasped him around the ankles.
Sheldon Day, a true freshman, enrolled early, played well in spring, gets significant playing time this year.
Less than 4 minutes. Second and goal. Robinson all day. Now the protection breaks down and he'll be sacked. Ball is down. I do not believe that's a fumble. Sheldon Day again makes the play for the Notre Dame defense. And Michigan will spend a timeout to stop the clock with 3:33.
It's Sheldon Day we talked about, the true freshman. He's working against Michael Schofield over here, okay? And what I like about it is he stays with it. Robinson keeps the play alive, but so does Day. There comes the strip inside. Who did he want? He wanted a big freshman, Devin Funchess. Look at the job Teo does in coverage. He rolls underneath. You can't throw it to him. And Tom, the best part of Teo's game, the most improved part this year after dropping 10 pounds, is his pass coverage.
And he said he worked on it diligently all summer long, and it shows. So Michigan takes the timeout. They'll have 2 remaining. They lost 8 yards on the sack of Robinson. 3rd sack of the game for the Irish defense. It'll set up a 3rd and goal from the 15-yard line. Not sure what this discussion would be about.
I remember back in the first quarter, Michigan had the ball inside the 5-yard line. Penalty and a sack pushed them out. If they can't convert here, that sack will go down as the biggest play of the game.
Ball just inside the Notre Dame 15-yard line on 3rd and goal. Bennett Jackson tonight, 9 tackles and an interception. And a fumble recovery too, I believe.
Key move by Diaco to move him into the boundary corner tonight where he'd get more activity. Okay, where are the playmakers? We all know 16's the main playmaker. Look over here, big number 19, the true freshman. Gardner here. They're both great red zone targets.
Robinson lost it for the end zone, incomplete. Too wide for Devin Gardner to handle as he takes a tough hit into that photographer's stand. He's still down.
Remember, Gardner's a big kid. Well, I hope he's okay. 6'4", 203 pounds on the outside. He's going to move inside and back to the corner. Kavari Russell, the true freshman, tries to undercut it. The ball's overthrown just outside. You can't throw that ball out of bounds. Oh, boy, I hate to see that. I mean, my biggest concern here is the young man. From a football perspective, the quarterback can't lead him there in a situation like this. You've got a 6'4" wide out on a 5'11" corner. Give him a chance to make a play. Don't throw it out of bounds.
Denard Robinson coming into the game only 191 yards of total offense to pass Chad Henne's 9,400 yards for the Michigan record. Doesn't care about that now. It's going to be 4th down when we come back. Devin Gardner able to walk to the Michigan sideline after being injured on that last play. It's 4th down and a field goal attempt coming from Gibbons, a 31-yard attempt. Gibbons has hit one, missed one so far tonight.
2-possession game. You might as well take the field goal on 4th and goal from the 14.
From 31 yards out, Gibbons is true. So Michigan with another drive that ends in a made field goal. And the lead is 13-6.
Notre Dame has played its best defense in their own red zone.
Let's huddle up now with Miller Lite.
Well, here we go again. Denard Robinson, big play on quarterback draw. Looks like Michigan's going to punch it in. Sheldon Day makes the biggest play of the game in my mind. Hangs in there, gets the sack. They clean it up. 3rd down. Really poor throw by Robinson. You cannot throw this ball out of bounds. He's 6'4". Give him a chance to win.
Our Miller Lite huddle up. And so here we are, 3 minutes and 27 seconds left in this one. The last 3 meetings in 09, Michigan won at 38-34. Tate Forcier a 5-yard touchdown pass. 2010, Denard Robinson ran it in from 2 yards out, 28-24 with 27 seconds. And who can forget last year with 2 seconds remaining as Denard hit Roundtree for the winning score. And a timeout has been taken by Notre Dame. And while we have the timeout, let's check in with Alex.
Well, Thomas, you and Mike are reminiscing the history between these two teams in the final minutes, really final seconds, and you can kind of feel that down here on the sideline. A lot of the Notre Dame players kind of bright-eyed as they watched Denard Robinson on that last series, wondering what might happen. Of course, a number of former players here tonight on the sideline, they're talking about it too. Everybody's saying we're a new team, we're different. Things that have happened in the past against Michigan won't happen tonight.
Yeah, Coach Kelly telling us consistency was the next step for him, that they showed mental toughness in the win over Purdue. They showed physical toughness in the win over Michigan State. Now they need to take the next step, which is a bridge to consistency.
And I think their defense has achieved that. Their defense has been consistent in all 4 games. I think every half of every game. I think their offense has been sporadic at best. And you're talking about a final 3 minutes and 27 seconds where if you go 3 and out, there's way too much time for Shoelace to work his magic.
Here's Matt Weil. Kicks it away. It will reach the end zone for the touchback as Riddick was the deep man and he just let it sail over his head. They didn't want to risk an onside kick by Michigan, and so the Irish will have it at the 25-yard line with 3 minutes and 27 seconds on the scoreboard. 13-6 Irish.
Michigan's had 5 trips to the red zone and have achieved a total of 6 points.
Tommy Reese, the quarterback, who came in to replace Everett Golson. Now with 3 minutes and 27 seconds. They'll hand it to Theo Riddick. Remember that last drive, which resulted in a Notre Dame field goal. Riddick was the workhorse. Morgan the stop of him there, short game. Clock approaching 3 minutes. Greg Madison's defense. They have 2 timeouts left, the Wolverines.
There's some pressure on a defensive coordinator here. You've got to be very aggressive with your run blitz situation. You can't be as concerned about what kind of position you put your secondary in.
1st and 10 line brought to you by Xerox.
It's a 9-man front right in here.
2nd and 8. Ball off again. Riddick.
Fullback, safety comes out, makes the tackle. Timeout Michigan, that's smart with 2:35.
Gain of 4 by Riddick, so it'll be 3rd down and 4 after the timeout. The Ryder Cup returns to American soil as Team Europe and Team USA play for glory and their countries. Ryder Cup week begins Monday on Golf Channel, leading up to the Ryder Cup next Saturday on NBC.
It's outside Chicago, isn't it?
Yep.
Medina. I'd love to go to the Ryder Cup.
Well, the band of the Fighting Irish trying to keep the enthusiasm going. Manti Te'o has had such a tremendous game. 2 games with the bye week. He's going to return to Hawaii to grieve with his family after the loss of not only his maternal grandmother but his girlfriend last week. He has been the most powerful force on the field tonight. But the defense can only watch. The Hawaiian leis that many of the fans are wearing in honor of Manti Te'o. They distributed 7,500 of them at the pep rally last night. Manti with 8 tackles, 2 interceptions tonight. 3rd down and 4. Play clock at 2. Got it. And here's Eichel. Got it. He's to the 40. 35-yard line. 1st down Notre Dame. His first catch of the game for 38 yards.
And we talked about calling things aggressively as a defensive coordinator. That leaves Eifert one-on-one with a corner. JT Floyd's a good player, but Eifert at 6'5", beat him off the line of scrimmage, makes the easy catch. And again, Tommy Reese comes off the bench, generates all the points. Key 3rd down situation, Reese to Eifert, and that should give them an opportunity to run out the clock.
Just over 2 minutes. Michigan has only 1 timeout left. Riddick dancing, lowers his head, gets back to the line of scrimmage. Desmond Morgan.
Stop by Michigan.
And Brady Hoke will take his final timeout of the game with 1:55 remaining. So 1:55 left. Notre Dame with the ball at the Michigan 32-yard line after this big catch by Tyler Eifert. His first reception in 2 games. Look at that reaction. Huge reception. 13-6 Notre Dame with 1:55 left. 2nd down and 11 for the Irish at the 32 of Michigan. One of the big stories of the game. The 6, count them, 6 giveaways by Michigan.
You know, and you live and die in college or professional football by giveaways and takeaways. Last year, Notre Dame died. This year, they came into the game +5 in turnover differential, and they're +4 today. .55. No timeouts, Wolverines.
Riddick again draws a crowd. Taken down at the 30, maybe a 1-yard gain. Quentin Washington first to hit him.
Now, let's talk field goal here, Tom, and some of the inherent risks. The ball's on the 30-yard line, called an 8-yard placement. That's a 48-yard field goal attempt if they make no yards on this play. Obviously, you want to keep the clock rolling. So you're probably going to run the football here. But a 48-yard field goal is risky at best. So you want to pick up, even if it's not a first down, you pick up 5 or 6 yards, it'll be much more comfortable for Kyle Brinson.
3rd down and 9. Tommy Rees making sure the play clock is all the way down before he snaps it. Here's a big run by Reddick, finding his way through yardage close to the first down. Looks like it'll be just short of first down yardage. 4th down and less than 1.
Mike Golick's going to pull out and get the block up in the hole. Riddick's going to cut inside.
The clock is stopped. Why is the clock stopped?
They want a measurement. Michigan's looking for a measurement, which makes sense. It gets them to.
Yeah, but it was stopped. Did you see Coach Kelly?
Yeah, I do.
It would stop on a first down, but they had not signaled first down, and the clock stopped as soon as he was tackled. Wow, what about that? First down.
Manti-Te'o running down the field.
And Tommy Rees gets a hug from his coach. And now the Irish can run out the clock and finally, after losing 3 straight, can defeat Michigan. Has to be sweet for Manti-Te'o through his grief. He was a large part of the Notre Dame victory tonight. They're in the victory formation for a kneel down. Michigan cannot stop the clock. And Denard Robinson finally tastes defeat against Notre Dame. He had been so brilliant in the first 2 meetings with the Irish. Did not have the good game today. And still Michigan was in it to the very end as the Irish hold on to win it 13-6 as Tommy Rees comes in to replace Everett Golson at quarterback. Goes 8 for 11 through the air for 115 yards. More importantly, did not turn the ball over. And Brian Kelly now 13-1 at Notre Dame when the Irish win the turnover battle. Still one of the most electric players in college football, Denard Robinson, tastes victory twice, and then on the 3rd time, it's Tommy Rees and the Irish that leave the field in the win column. And the players now coming over to the student section as we go down to Alex with Coach Brian Kelly.
Well, Coach Kelly, you came into this game looking for some consistency. Where do you rank this win in terms of importance for you and this program?
Well, I think, you know, anytime you play a Michigan team with Denard Robinson and you hold them to 6 points, that's a pretty consistent performance from our defense all year. And then in the second half, when we needed to make some plays on offense and control the clock, our kids stepped up pretty good.
You said coming into this game it would come down to whether or not you could stop Denard Robinson. How were you able to do that?
Well, I thought we played well with some young kids in the back end of the defense. They made some really good plays. And I think anytime you control the line of scrimmage, it makes it hard for him. And he had to throw the football a lot. We got 6 turnovers. Anytime you force that many turnovers, you got a great shot.
In terms of the quarterback, you made the decision to go with Tommy Rees. You started him in the second half. Why did you choose to start him in the second half?
Well, I just think, you know, we just needed to play consistent in the second half, take care of the football. We wanted to make sure they were giving a lot of looks to Everett, which we thought, and we just felt like that was the best thing for our team to win.
What does it mean for you at the quarterback position going forward?
You know, we still are committed to Everett, and this is going to be a situation all year. Everett's our guy, but Tommy's there in a pinch to come in and help us win.
Manti-Te'o, I know it was an emotional night for him. You got some big play out of him.
He really did. He played superior. He's that kind of kid. He can overcome so many things and still play great football. I'm so proud of him.
Congratulations, Coach Kelly. Big win.
And in honor of Manti-Te'o and the victorious Fighting Irish, the Hawaiian leis being twirled around above the student's head as they stand for the alma mater, Notre Dame, our mother. A sweet victory for the Irish under the lights at Notre Dame Stadium over one of their biggest rivals, the University of Michigan. Manti Te'o. He's got a heart as big as the state of Hawaii. Well, the Notre Dame defense has become, despite the inexperienced secondary, a real force as Te'o enjoys a quiet moment. And Theo Riddick was really the workhorse in the second half when they needed to pick up some first downs and get the clock moving again.
No doubt, Tom. You started with the defense, and I think that was the appropriate place to start. Bob Diaco's defense was only allowing 10 points a game. They give up 6 here. So credit to the defense. Theo Riddick and the offense, when they needed it, got it done in the second half. And Tom, why don't I throw it down to Alex for once? What do you think?
You got it.
Hey, Tom, well, standing by with Manti Te'o, who's giving the crowd a little appreciation as they wear those leis tonight. We can see your emotions here tonight. Describe your emotions.
I'm humbled. I have a big family. I have family both here and on the other side, so I'm very fortunate, you know, to be in this position. And, you know, I'm so happy to be part of this team.
We talk big.
This team we work together. I mean, our brotherhood, the love that we have for each other really displayed itself out there today. And, you know, I'd like to thank, you know, my Heavenly Father for putting me in this position, you know, to represent him and represent my family and helping me to help my team win. And, you know, I'm just really excited. I'm really humbled.
Manti Te'o playing with a heavy heart, man. Congratulations on a big win.
Thank you. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
In Hawaii.
Where Manti is heading during the off week for the Irish, who are now 4-0 with a bye week coming up before they go to Chicago to face Miami.
I've never been a Notre Dame homer, but I believe when the Irish are relevant, it's good for college football, and the Irish are relevant right now.
Well, the last time they were 4-0 was 10 years ago, 2002, and so here they are 4-0 with a bye week and heading to their Soldier Field matchup with Miami on NBC 2 weeks from tonight. Well, for Brian Kelly's full post-game press conference, go to NBCSports.com. In 2 weeks, the rivalry renewed as the Irish host the Hurricanes in Chicago, only on NBC. Sunday night is football night as the Ravens take on the Patriots on Sunday Night Football. Coverage from Baltimore begins tomorrow night at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. And tonight, Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Mumford & Sons take the stage in an all-new Saturday Night Live. So for Alex Flanagan and Mike Mayock, this is Tom Hammer saying so long from South Bend.